Welcome to the Masters in Motion podcast. Join us as we jump into the world of CrossFit and celebrate the strength, resilience, and determination of Masters athletes. I'm Jason Grubb. I'm here with Rick Stevenson. We just got back from the Legends Championship in Tempe, Arizona, and it was a crazy, crazy weekend, but it ended up turning out to be quite a good one. Rick, how was it for you?
Well, first of all, good to see you again. It's been a long time, right?
You too. Yeah, long time.
At least a few
been
hours.
2 days.
2 days. Oh, great time. I tell you, it started on not being able to get into the Airbnb like we thought. Ended with a couple of championships.
Yes.
And I'll speak from my side, as you probably saw. Spent a lot of time by the pool after we were done. So
I was absolutely jealous of the teams. You guys came in, competed, and were done. And then, you guys got to spend some solid time in the pool there at the Sun Devil Fitness Center. It was beautiful.
Yep.
Gosh, what a great spot.
It was great.
Especially December.
And I think I said this a number of times over the weekend or the course of the weekend. Mayhem was an excellent opportunity. It was a bucket list trip for me. I was not spending near, obviously, the amount of time that you or maybe some other athletes have spent there. So it was great to be there. Great environment, very good competition. But it was Tennessee in December. It was rainy weather. It was cold, dark, and there was nothing to do outside. And you were really in that area. Whereas if you were done competing or between events, we saw people just coming and hanging out by the pool, walking around. I mean, there was a reason to be outside and not forced to stay in there. So I think Joe and Jason and Bob have found a good idea for a December venue.
I totally agree. I think the venue was exceptional. It was huge. And I remember walking in and seeing the main workout areas. Obviously, they had event area 1, event area number 2. Those were huge. The vendors throughout that entire area just stacked and set up, which was super cool. Obviously, the pool area being right there as well was just a huge highlight. And the fact that we had a pool event, we'll talk about the events in a couple of minutes, but the pool was right there, which there was also some cold plunges out by the pool. There's a company that was doing that, which was awesome. And then upstairs was the huge area for athletes to chill, to hang out, sit at tables between events.
That is... okay, no, I can't. That's right. Okay, I will say that rivals the athlete area in Madison. It was spacious, large. You never felt like you were on top of each other. It was perfect for that. I'm so glad they had the upstairs. And we even took advantage of the indoor track around the upstairs to warm up with a little running, practice some handstands, so you weren't doing it on the athlete village floor. But great space up there. If you didn't mind climbing a few stairs, it was well laid out.
Well, I will say that we did climb up and down those stairs about 8,000 times. And given the workouts and the amount of pain and soreness that we were experiencing from the workouts, up and down the stairs was a challenge. So the elevator was tempting in some capacity. I mean, not really, but it was really, my legs were tired. Going up and down the stairs was a max effort by the end of the weekend, just from exhaustion.
Correct.
But
in fairness to you guys, not for us.
For you. Yeah, exactly. And I know that next year, they're looking to, I believe, have us that same venue for the Legends Championship in December next year, which will be a different event, a separate event than the Masters CrossFit Games presented by Legends. So that's very cool.
Right.
And I know that they were talking about, these are all, I don't think all this is nailed down yet, but they're thinking about doing something where they've got the main floor, they've got the pool, and they have the field, the Sun Devil Stadium field in play as well, which would just be huge. So that they had, how many athletes did they have? Over 700, Rick?
Oh, no. It was 460 or something like that, I think.
Including teams and all events.
Including teams. I think, our numbers are way off. So here, we're going to be fact checked. Somebody's going to have to label us. But I thought he said how many were actually checking in the night of the athlete briefing. And I thought that number was a lot lower. I could be wrong. But it was, I'll tell you what, it was a lot. It was a lot more than last year because you had RX, you had scaled and teams added into your regular amount of divisions.
You know what else that provided? By having that larger group of athletes, scaled teams and elite athletes all together, is it made the venue feel busy. You know what I mean? There was
Oh,
never a time where a floor felt empty. Like it felt like there weren't spectators. It felt like for every event, the barricade around that event was lined with people, lined with fans, and it felt
right,
like you were right there with them. So every time I finished
right.
an event, I was right there in front of family, friends, fans, and that I think that made for a really, really cool experience for all competitors having that many people in the area. Right? It didn't. I mean,
I,
it felt
I,
packed.
yeah. I wonder. I don't know if we'll ever get results or some information from them on the number of tickets sold for spectators because like I was and again we'll get into the events, but I was on the upper level shooting down for your ropes event, and
Yes.
I got you all before you while you were all in the starting mat, and it was ringed with people all the way around.
Yep.
I was like, that is a really cool shot. And then of course they've shown some other heats from other of the other age groups with it being as packed. So I don't think anybody complained about not being able to see the action because you were almost able to get around all four sides on the one floor
Yep.
and just the one side on the second floor. But nobody really had an issue that I heard of.
No, no, I don't think there were any issues, and it was just right. And I can imagine
Right.
if they have, each year I believe they have a larger capacity, they can take on more athletes, or at least if they're
Mm-hmm.
doing it at this venue. And I have no doubt that the momentum created from this year. They've got to be excited for what's coming next year as a
Mm-hmm.
Legends organization. They have to be thinking the Legends Championship can be so massive and really draw athletes from not only just around the country but around the world. And I mean, I'm super excited for what it will look like next year and into the future. I've trusted these guys for years to create a great event, and like you said,
Mm-hmm.
when it was at
Right.
Mayhem, it was very cool. The year before, we
Absolutely.
were in San Diego. It was great. The year before that, we were in Arizona during COVID, and they made that work
They made it
phenomenally
work.
well.
Yeah. Yep.
And then this year was truly amazing. So I'm excited to see what's coming for Legends next year. I'm excited to see what they do with the games. And
Right.
while we were out there, I think you saw that Glassman was there, Bosman and Castro were there as well. I think
Mm-hmm.
Bosman and Castro, that was somewhat unrelated to Greg Glassman being there, but they were doing
Mm-hmm.
some games talks with Bob and Joe while they were out there. So
Mm-hmm.
that's always a good
Right.
sign when you have some of the big heavy hitters from CrossFit out there. I like to see that.
Yeah. Dave in his weekend review said something to the effect like, we were there to check out the group, check out the organization that we're working with, and as they told us when we were talking to them, yep, we had some meetings and we're here to take a look at everything. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed. You know what? What is it? December right now? 8 months. 8 months.
Not
I don't
much
know
time.
exact.
I mean,
We heard rumors of dates for those games, and more will come out on that. But give or take about 8 months, and it'll probably be complete. Hard to believe.
yeah, hard to believe. Now, since we're on the topic of CrossFit and its connection with the Legends Championship, I think
Hmm.
one of our critiques that you and I talked about, and I know it was mentioned on Talking Elite Fitness. Shout out to those guys. Thank you, Talking Elite Fitness. They covered a bit of the Legends Championship this week on their podcast.
Right.
But one of the critiques that I think we all have is that it was great to have Dave and Bosman there. We actually got to say hi to both of them, and in person, they're just the genuine article. They are two very,
Yep.
very good dudes. But CrossFit HQ or the media team or whoever's running social media for CrossFit, then all they had to do was
Yep.
share or reshare one thing. And there was not a single mention the entire weekend whatsoever from CrossFit Games or CrossFit on social media about the Legends Championship, the partner for the CrossFit Games next year. And, I can't remember if we talked about this at all last week. I find that really frustrating. As an athlete, I
Right.
find it frustrating as a competitor, a lover of the sport, and a believer that CrossFit is genuinely trying to do. I think Castro is trying to do the right thing by creating these separate events for teams, for masters, for adaptive. I think this is a good
Right.
move. I think his intentions are good. He and I got to talk out there a bit. So I believe in Dave Castro. I believe in Bosman. The media team needs something.
Uh,
I mean,
yeah.
I want to just walk to HQ and like bang on the door, like, "Hey guys, what are you doing? What are you
Right.
doing?" That's all I'm going to say. Rick, What are your
Well,
thoughts?
yeah, and I was going to say, hats off to whoever the Legends partnered with for media content and coverage, because I thought it was very good for not having streaming or any type of live feed. Social media took care of a lot of highlights. There was plenty of
Agree.
live streaming from people, but not everybody follows Legends. I think
Right.
more people would be dialed into CrossFit's social media than just the Legends. And to reinforce your point, all they had to do was repost something, because then you're doing the job for the Legends media team, and you're getting greater reach, and you're helping sell their product. And so,
Yeah.
come on, because
Come on.
those guys at Legends did what they could to put content out a lot. They were creative, timely. I think Clydesdale Media was doing those event recaps of maybe the
Yep.
top 5 finishes each time. I know I
Yep.
saw a couple on your story. So,
Yep.
so there was collaboration, and Legends was running with it, and individual athletes were running with it and reposting, but silence. And I think Dave posted on his story, or maybe he posted himself, of a picture with himself and a few of the others, but that was it. And it's not his
Man,
job. I get that, but
it's not
come
his
on.
job. He is not in charge of social media. It seems like that organization is very
Right.
segmented. That
Right.
one hand does not talk to the other hand.
Yep.
It's
Very
as if the
siloed.
media team or the social media handle, whoever's handling marketing, well, whatever's going on there, it's as if they didn't even know it was happening. As a media company, I'm not a media company. I'm pointing to myself as if I'm a media company. But honestly, if you give me content to share, it's
Hmm.
so great because I don't have to create that. I can just share it.
Right.
I love sharing good content. And the media team over at Legends that they partnered with, I believe it was Hercules, if I'm not mistaken,
I think you're right. Yep.
they were creating remarkable content. I mean, I know what it's like to edit late into the night, just my own content. And they've got, gigabytes and gigabytes, hours and hours of footage that they're putting into a 1 minute highlight by the next morning. That's so well done, so exciting, so neat to see. All CrossFit has to do is say, "Oh, that's great. I'm just going to share that because this is featuring
No
masters
problem.
athletes." But it is. It's HQ had no idea that this was even going on this weekend.
Well, and
Frustrating.
and not everybody. There were 2 other events in the CrossFit world going on. There was, I think it's
Yes.
Fit Friends in
Yep.
the UK, in Birmingham, and Dubai, which was exciting to watch. And it was the only one of the 3 events that was live streamed. And I mean, I know every morning I get up, had my cup of coffee, and I was sitting there watching
Yes.
Dubai's rewind, and try and catch as many of the heats of the names that I know and like to follow. So, in fairness to the space, there were 3 events going on the weekend in the off season where there usually aren't multiple events.
Right.
But we were relatively local compared to Birmingham, England, and Dubai.
Yes.
I mean, come on. So I'll
Well,
get
and
off my soapbox, but
I'm going to
it was
add
pretty
one
easy.
level, one more layer to that. Those were really big competitions, right?
Mm-hmm. One was more of
Both
an
I am.
exhibition. Yeah, I think.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean, they're very closely connected to CrossFit. CrossFit Games athletes are in that, and I'm just
right.
taking a look at CrossFit's feed over the weekend. Not a mention of those events either.
Oh,
These are
okay. See, I
these
didn't do that. Okay, that's fair.
not nothing was mentioned. Is it? It's again like HQ. They don't even realize what the heck is going on out there.
I mean,
They
you
had
had
some
another
posts over the weekend.
Ricky,
They
Ricky and Roman battle going on. I mean,
I
that's
know how fun
that's
is
good
that.
for the sport. I know. Ricky came
The
on with a
latest post,
charge.
CrossFit's not even posting daily, but 6 days ago, it was one of the days we were competing. They're showing a highlight of Rich Froning from years ago. Nothing wrong with that highlight, but we've got
Mm-mm.
fresh content, guys. We
Yeah,
don't have to we don't have to dig stuff out of the past, and it's right here. So okay, do we beat that dead horse? It's
I think
dead.
we did. It's the
Okay.
holiday season. Let's give them a break. We said
They're
what we
all
needed to say. Yeah,
okay.
they'll be on
Unpacking
vacation
their
shortly.
their stockings are full of coal. As
Oh
far as
yeah,
I'm concerned. Okay. Let's move on to. You want to talk through some of the events? Maybe
yeah.
a few of
Pick
the
a few,
events. Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Why don't you pick?
I'll
Oh, go ahead.
I'll start overall though. We went. I went teams for those that weren't aware of that, and obviously you went individual. I went into this fully knowing that I would do less work, have fewer events, and it was their first year of trying teams. I had a very good experience at Masters Fitness Championship just a couple of months ago. This was a four-person mixed pair setup, and was excited for this opportunity. It worked out well for us. We were able to win. Great competition. A lot of friendly faces. Met new folks as well on the team's side. However, not nearly enough work. I mean,
Yep.
I was not sore like you were.
Yep.
it, I like the events. We'll pick a couple maybe and talk about them. But outside of some strenuous moments, I would have loved to have done more. I
Sure.
was like, I came all the way out here. Please let me do more.
Yeah.
So I think
So a
you're going
little
to get that.
feedback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're going to get that though. They just
You,
couldn't put us on the floor. I
yeah.
think, and we talked to Joe about this. Volunteers, judges. It wasn't logistically possible. So we're just grateful for the opportunity to have teams and have scale this year. Because for scale, think about the number of athletes that came out that have not competed at this high level before. They were
Right.
excited to be out there on the competition floor too. So
So
I made that choice.
they cracked the seal on teams, and it's like anything else. This
Right.
was their first leap
Sure.
into it,
Yeah.
and they learn a bit about logistics, learn a bit about the amount of volunteers needed to execute,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
equipment and time. But you did get out there. Oh, I mean, honestly,
I got out
I'm
there.
just glad you came so I could share Airbnb with y'all. So that just worked
You
out
got
really
it.
well. It was a win-win.
Yeah. The
Nothing like
ladies
pizza and wine
got a
with you.
chance to watch us hang out like we've been doing here
Yeah.
of late. So it
Yep,
was
this is how
really
we
good.
do it. Well, why don't you talk about an event? I don't know if we want to go through all the events. We'll just kind of see how this goes.
Yeah, let's see here. How about I'll take one from the first day and one from the second day. How about that? Because again,
Beautiful.
you competed over 4 days, we competed over 2 days, and those 2 days were rather compressed. I mean, it took about maybe 2.5 hours to knock out all three of our events on Friday,
Right.
and hour and a half to knock out two events on Saturday, and boom. So, myself and my teammates, we were standing around looking like, okay, what can we do? Let's go out to the pool. But here I go again, which hats off to the great song named themed workout titles. That's a long way of saying that. Over the weekend, I loved it. Here I go again. It was a 12-minute cap. It was 4 rounds of 15 dumbbell shouldered overheads on the left and on the right, a 50-meter swim. So each partner had to do that one time. And then into 4 rounds of 15 shouldered overhead on the left, 15 on the right, 100-meter swim. The weights for our older teams were 40 and 30. So very manageable. You just were throwing it up, yanking it back down as fast as you could. It was about efficiency in the water. We won this event, but we did not finish this event. Our fourth lady she was 12 shouldered overheads into her last round on the one arm. If we would have had another minute, 2 minutes, we would have been done, I think. And
Yep.
I think of the time cap in a lot of these, and you'll talk about it too, because, well, no, you did finish. We finished a number of them. We didn't finish all of them. And we were
Yes.
very competitive. So I think the time caps were a little tighter on teams than they were on individuals. This was well programmed. It was in a pool, well laid out, easy to watch. Everybody just took their turn cycling. It was a sprint. Who hasn't trained for that type of sprinting? I'd be surprised if you haven't. Really enjoyed it. But 12 minutes, just give us another minute or two, I think. And everybody got in the water, and it was a blast. So that was here I go again. You
Well,
want to do one, or
that's
do you want
yeah. I'll
to?
jump into one.
Okay,
I
you do
think that
one on
sounds
the
good.
yeah.
Day one for us, we had the pool swim as well. I think I'll highlight that
Hmm.
one because it was also it's really easy to highlight actually both events on day one. First, every breath you take was a 9-minute cap, and this was also felt like an aggressive cap in the pool as well. It felt like all of the time caps were fairly aggressive. So this was 15 on right arm, 15 on left arm, or 15. It didn't matter which arm you started on. 15 and
Right, right.
15, single arm shoulder to overhead. My age group had 60-pound dumbbells, which is just enough to become irritating. There's a that's a good it's a
That's
good
a
weight.
good weight on one arm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not 70s, but it's not 50s. It's so funny. It's 60s, which is just right. Then you go 100-meter swim. Then you go 12 left, 12 right, or 12 on each arm. Then 100-meter
Hmm.
swim. Then 9 100-meter swim. And while it felt like this is in and out of the pool type workout. The single arm dumbbell shoulder overhead really didn't slow anyone down, I don't think. I think we
No.
kind of all raced through that. And then it was a max effort swim. Really, it was really
Right.
300s as fast as possible. I won this event by I don't know, maybe 10 seconds. So that's fairly tight in a pool area, in a workout that's that
Hmm.
long in a pool. It's not, this isn't like a lay down, but it was really fun. It was really, really fun. It was one of those workouts, and those competitors that were there will empathize with this, where, when you do this hard work and then you jump in the pool, you are feeling the high heart rate and your lack of oxygen very quickly,
Absolutely.
very, very quickly. So you're nervous. Can I make it across the pool? Am I going to have to stop to breathe, or can I just keep going? And, ironically, Rick, I had we've been training in our program for swimming. We knew there was a swim at Legend, so
Right.
we had been doing some things at the pool that put us in and out of the water, doing some activity out of the water. But just a week before this event, I carried 100
Huh.
pounds worth of dumbbells, two 50-pound dumbbells, into the pool at a YMCA. Not their dumbbells. I brought my own dumbbells through the parking lot, through the front door, in a bag into the pool area. And it was, that was actually the hardest part. Just carrying in a bag 100 pounds of odd object to the pool, needed to recover just to do that. So I had I had done thrusters and pool swims, 21, 15, 9 the week before. So I felt like I had just done something like this. And
Hmm.
the single arm shoulder overhead was way more fun than two dumbbell thrusters. That was truly terrible.
Oh,
But
yeah. No, I
I,
don't think
I,
your breathing wasn't as impacted with the shouldered overheads as
no,
a
no,
full
no,
body movement. That's
like
what we felt the
thrusters.
same way. Like
Yeah.
I'm glad they did that.
You could feel it in your arms. You could feel some fatigue building up, but
Hmm.
you weren't having an absolute heart attack when you were diving in the water.
Hmm.
You were
Right.
fatigued, but you weren't dying until that last 100, where you were really questioning a lot of things there. But boy, was it fun. I think everyone had fun out there. We also had beautiful weather. So when you're out there in the
Oh,
sun, in a pool swim in December,
people
great
are
event.
screaming, music's
Yeah.
blaring. Yep,
Oh, so much fun.
that was a good time.
I will say that the next event that we had, which for us was just 2 weeks, 2 hours later, was we had a 1 rep max snatch and 1 rep max clean and jerk, and this
Hmm.
was it was 4 minutes to accomplish each with a 1 minute transition. Nothing to really share about this. Just kind of at first I didn't love this event because we had just been tested in an event like this at the games. But if you
Right.
remember in 2020 in Phoenix, this workout was programmed and it got rained out of all things in
Hmm.
Phoenix. And they wanted to have this tested. They have not tested this 2021, 2022. So they brought it in this year. And sure enough, it's a really fun way to test your 1 rep max. I mean, all the pressure, all the adrenaline, all the cheering, all the people right there in your face was really enjoyable. So in hindsight, I'm really glad they brought that event back and we got to have that tested. And also by the end of day one, I mean, all we did was like, I don't know, 10, 12 minutes of work. We
Correct.
felt good
Yeah.
going to day two. We're not sore yet, for sure.
But he had to. They had to use that day one on Thursday to knock those
Oh yeah.
two events out of the way because on Friday started scaled and teams, and suddenly it
Yes.
got very busy. And I think I
Yes.
noticed the difference when we wandered around Thursday right after your swim. No, you had already lifted, and it didn't feel as congested as it did Friday when everybody
Yeah.
was there. So,
Yep.
hey, you got to. How did you think? How did you feel? What were the nerves like? Now, again, you're a seasoned competitor, but the
Yep.
nerves knowing that your first event for the weekend was in the water, which is different than saying my first event is out on the competition floor. Oh, I
Hmm.
got bar muscle ups and jump rope or something like that, double unders. But I mean,
Yeah.
there's a difference to pool. Not everybody
Yeah.
is as comfortable in the pool as
Yeah,
somebody.
I think for it was interesting to have that be the first event because being the first event, you tend to have a big adrenaline dump.
Yep.
It's really strong and on that first event. I tend to find the events after that first one, you've acclimated to competition. Now, okay, we're
Yes.
here,
Correct.
it's okay. But event number one,
I passed it.
you
Yeah.
yeah, you're just getting hammered with it. For me, I've done this enough that I don't feel those huge adrenaline dumps quite as much
Correct.
anymore. but I could see that that would put you in a precarious position in a pool
Hmm.
swim where you have all this adrenaline. You go right arm for 15, left arm for 15. You're feeling like a rock star, and you jump in the pool, and the adrenaline wears off, and your heart rate is at max.
I can breathe.
Yeah, you can see. So if you're listening and you found yourself after that first 25 and you thought you were going to die, it's because the adrenaline gotcha. It's kind of a getcha. The adrenaline can give you superpowers, but it can't overcome a lack
Right.
of oxygen or carbon dioxide buildup, and the pool
Hmm.
is going to expose that. So that was one of those where the first 25 for me was just, hey, dude, we're just staying in calm here. Once we get to the other side, we can turn on the jets on this swim, but let's just chill
Hmm.
and not kill
Hmm.
ourselves on this first 25. And for me, I've done enough high heart rate jumping into the pool swimming to know I
Hmm.
need about 25 yards to chill and acclimate to the water, acclimate to the swim, turn around and go. So if there were a lot of lessons learned by a lot of people out there, I imagine one of their lessons was
Yep.
the pool is deceptive and it's going to steal your breath.
I'll tell you, we had a friend of mine, Mike Matzik, in the 50 to 54, newly 50. In his previous life, he was a rescue swimmer in the military, and I've known him for a number of years. Didn't know that until I had heard him say that publicly somewhere. He was in my ear on pacing the swims, and not having a coach right there. I thought that was so valuable. I was like, all right, this guy has lived in the water,
Yes.
honestly, in another life. And yet he was, you want to establish a lead, or you want to get out to a good start. Holding those reins back just a little bit, when to turn it on. Not
Yeah.
this 75 meter, but that next 20 or yards, or what it was, meters,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah. But it was great to have him in my ear. And that's
Yeah.
because the spectators were so close, right to the edge,
Yeah. Right in your
right
face. It was
behind,
awesome.
right behind
Yep.
that yellow caution tape that looked like a murder scene, is what I called it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how about you go? We'll go
Okay.
to another.
Yeah.
Take
Let,
a shot at
let's
another.
go. Let's go to day two. Let's go with Hell's Bells. Okay.
Hmm.
Wow, what an interesting workout. So what we had was a 7-minute time cap. Again, very, very tight. Very few people finished this workout in any heats because it was such a tight time cap. You start with 240 feet of double dumbbell farmer's lunge. Okay. You go into 36 double dumbbell deadlifts, then 24 double dumbbell hang squat cleans, then 12 double dumbbell devil presses, standard weights through age 49. 50 plus, you had 40 pounds, and then 60 plus, you had 35 pounds. These are men's weights, but the equivalent female weights, we all kind of know that breakdown. So here was the fun part of this workout, and they've done a penalty workout before. The penalty
Hmm. They're
was
known
built into
for
this
it.
thing. If you set down the dumbbells, you have to do a 2 double dumbbell devil press penalty. So let's say you're on that 240 feet of walking lunges, which they had a 40-foot span. So it was down and back, down and back, down and back. That's 40 feet. It was that many turnarounds. If you have to set down the dumbbells, you do two devil presses and then rest as long as you need, pick it up and finish that segment. You could set down the dumbbells between movements. For example, between the farmer carry and the deadlifts,
Right.
you could set
Right.
them down. So we go 3, 2, 1, go. And the guys around me just go lunging like it's nothing. I don't understand how people are
Damn.
lunging this fast.
They
I
went.
I so fast, Rick. I'm like,
I
okay, well,
noticed. I
come
was like,
on.
you were like eighth or ninth to the line in that
Yeah.
first length of 40
And
feet. I was like, he's got a plan, I think, because he's getting
my
buried.
I was getting buried. My plan was keep
Yeah,
up with these guys,
absolutely. Yeah.
which I did not do. But regardless, I got through the walking lunges, turn around, put my dumbbells where the deadlifts go, and I'm
Hmm.
looking up and down, and there's maybe only 1 or 2 people doing the deadlifts. People were taking a decent break there, and I thought, well, okay, let's go. So I didn't take a break on the dumbbell farmer's carry, but I wanted to because my legs were so tired. It wasn't about my grip on that last length. My legs were really tired, but
Mm,
got to the
interesting.
got to the deadlifts. I started doing some deadlifts, and I was kind of, I was just doing deadlifts at a deadlift pace, and then I realized these are just 50 pounds. So then I turned on the afterburners, and I just started, just started down and up like a woodpecker. I mean, just boom, 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 boom with those
Yep.
deadlifts. Got through those. That was actually fairly easy. And then the double dumbbell hang squat cleans, 24 of
Oh,
those
those
without
are
setting it
terrible.
down. I knew if I could get through this entire workout unbroken, I'd probably win. That was my plan. Plan A was unbroken, never setting down the dumbbells. And so that's what I did. I got through the double dumbbell squat cleans. It was very challenging. The last few, I could not have done 25. I did 24, held on, forearms were dying. And then once I got to the devil presses, they felt great. I mean, I was tired, I was fatigued, but the grip was fine. And
Mhm.
they don't tax your grip, quite like the double dumbbell hang squat cleans. You're just so fatigued there. But yeah, I knew that if I could just hang on unbroken, I win. And I did. I ended up winning that event. And it was one of the only. There was a handful that finished, but that time cap was very, very tight. And if you're at home and you haven't done a workout like this, I think it's a really fun one to try because it's not overwhelming in any specific way. And let me say,
It's
in
the
any generic
accumulation.
way. It's
Yeah.
the accumulation, and then boy, it really does. Once you get to those dumbbell squat cleans, that is a true and absolute test of grit. That's all it is. It's grit
Hmm.
and pain. It was really, really fun. This workout made me incredibly sore. The next day, I knew
Oh,
the lunges were going to make me sore. My
okay.
glutes were sore almost to the touch. It was extreme. I
Huh.
knew it, and I planned on it, and that was Hell's Bells,
Did
appropriately named.
did did that finish the day for you, or was that the
No,
first of two? That was the first of
first
two
of
that day.
two. The next event was actually a rope climbing jump rope event. It was called Jump. So after
Okay.
the Van Halen song, which is great. This time cap was shorter than the song. It was 4 minutes.
Oh yeah,
You
no
did
kidding.
you did 3 rope climbs, 20 heavy double unders, 3 rope climbs, 40 single crossovers, 3 rope climbs, 60 double unders. If you go perfect, you win this event, or you go top three. If you trip
Hmm.
once or twice or 6 times, you lose seconds. And I
Yeah.
lost all the seconds. I blew it. I'm good at all that stuff, Rick. I'm good.
Hmm.
But I tripped, and then I tripped. You were there. You got some great
Yeah.
pictures,
Well,
but I was
you
floundering of
you looked human in an event. That was a
it
nice.
was.
That was. I was like, what's
I
going
really
on
did.
here? No.
I felt human. I couldn't get
Did
it
you
together.
did you all when you were guys were all warming up, was there a lot of talk in the back about the thought that how many people would finish, or was there complaining that the cap was too tight? Because this is why I'm not a programmer, and I'll freely
Yep.
admit it. I looked at that amount of work, but with just 4 minutes and thought, no one's going to finish this. Yet almost everybody did. So I was
Yep.
way, way off.
I felt that way. I think we were all unsure if
Okay.
anybody would finish. We were all. I mean, we all had plans to just go fast.
Sure.
There's no
Yeah.
other way on this. But if you did the math and you thought, if 3 rope climbs takes 45 seconds on a bad day in a race. I mean, we're talking about racing
Right.
rope climbs. We're not talking about training rope climbs. Racing rope climbs. So 45 seconds. So you really have 2 minutes and 15 seconds of rope climbs and 120 let's see, 120 double unders with those other different methods. It's totally doable in 4 minutes if you think that you have 3 minutes and 45 or a minute and 45 seconds to do 120 jumping movements, whether it's heavy rope,
Correct.
crossovers, or double unders. So you do the math, you do transitions, which are really quick. It's doable. I'm not sure if anybody realized how fast it would actually go. It
Yeah.
went
There were
so
some
fast.
pretty impressive times.
Some of the winning times were under 3 minutes, and that was
Correct.
pretty remarkable. But you had to be perfect, and I
It
I think
it came down to
it
execution. That's what it did. Because if you did the math and
100%.
you said, okay, physically this is possible,
Mm-hmm.
3, 3, 3, and then the
Yep.
different variation of the jumps, but
Yep.
I can't miss because transitions, you have to count the transition time in there too. So I can't
Yes.
I have to execute. So
Yes.
all right.
My
Hey,
mistake. I'll just share my mistake. If
sure.
I know what I did. I tripped on one of the heavy double unders, the last one, and had to redo it. So I felt like I was in a deficit. So I got in a little bit of a hurry on the next 3 rope climbs. I felt like I needed to catch up on the crossovers, and smooth is fast on all
Hmm.
of these movements. And what I did is fast and not smooth. I went fast, not smooth, instead of smooth is
Yeah.
fast. So my mistake was trying to go faster to catch up, put me in a deficit because I kept making
Ah,
mistakes. And
okay.
what I really needed to do was take a breath and be perfect after one mistake. And I've got plenty of experience in doing
Sure.
this, but I still am learning lessons like that. Like it's even when a mistake happens, staying calm and collected is necessary. And whether I looked calm and collected or not, I felt internally
Mhm.
frantic, and that's never a good spot on a 4 minute workout to have franticness, beating
Well,
through my veins.
this is fun for competition, and it probably felt good for your competition, Vlad, because
Yes,
I think if I'm right, you two went head to head in the games on a workout that included a lot of double unders, but it had some machines, and you bested
yes,
him, and he executed better on this one and was able
yes.
to take the win on this. So a little bit of give and take,
He
a little,
executed
but that's
perfectly. In
that's
fact,
that's beautiful. Yeah.
he came up to me before the workout and he said, "Jason, I'm going to win this workout." And I said,
Oh, I did.
"I
Oh,
think you are. I think I was like, yes, you are. Yeah, I give it to you. You will win this. I want to stay close, but you will win
right.
this." And he did win it. And I let 7 people get in between me and him, and that's tricky.
Yeah,
But hats off to him. He executed
sure.
it
He
perfectly.
executed well. Yeah.
He's truly beautiful at rope work. It's really remarkable. If you want to know how to do it, watch how he does it. It's just right.
Yep. And it's fast descent too. Very good descent.
Yep.
Uh, I will take one from day two. This is one that we took a second on. Knowing going into this workout, we knew that we could do no worse than third and clinch the victory. So we just cared about the team that was right next to us, and then we were looking for that outlier. If somebody else got ahead of us, we needed to stay right with them. And it was nice to be able to have four sets of eyes instead of just yourself, like you, in an
Yes.
individual competition trying to swivel and watch the entire lane, all the lanes. But comfortably numb, good name again, just
Such a great.
crack up with this. Comfortably numb, 16-minute cap, and a number of teams did finish this. So I'm not saying anything about the cap. It was 4 rounds, 2 partners at a time, so one male, one female. 10 hang squat cleans, 5 each. And I won't go into the specifics
Sure.
because there was a lot of confusion as to the order, how many you did, or whatever. So 5 hang squat cleans each. Your partner's holding the bar in a deadlift position while you're doing the hang squat cleans. So there's, again, more grip work.
Yep.
The weights for us were 155 and 105, and then immediately into 20 deadlifts. You do 10, I do 10. So partners 1 and 2 go, partners 3 and 4 go, partners 1 and 2 go, partners 3 and 4 go. That's your 4 rounds. You go immediately into 400 feet of handstand walks, which when we saw that high skill movement, we were very excited. We're like, this is
Yes.
great. The minimum work requirement was everybody had to do at least 40 feet. So we
Yes.
knew we had a teammate that, hey, if he got 40 feet, it was a win, and he did. And I'm so proud of him, so excited, so happy. He went 20. Myself and 2 others, we just knocked out as many as we could. We gave him 20 feet. He got it done. And then myself and the other ladies just knocked out more. It saved the last 20 feet for him because we knew if he didn't get that 20 feet, we couldn't advance anyway. So we might as well just
Right.
let him finish. He crossed the finish line, and then we had to do 4 rounds of male, male, female, female of 15 cleans. Could have been any clean you wanted, and 30 deadlifts. So we're chasing the team next to us. We know we were in second place at the time. They had a small lead, and we were just, I think you called yourself a woodpecker up and down. I
Yes.
just felt like a piston on the deadlifts. I
Yes.
almost was closing my eyes trying to drop as I was pushing the bar down, pulling it up with a lot of speed. It was fun. They crossed the finish line just before we did. We secured second place in the event, which gave us the win overall. But it was something where that's a true team event. Everybody had to contribute. There was a minimum work
Yeah.
requirement per person, and you worked both as a male female partner, and then you worked as a male male female female tandem.
Right.
Beautifully designed under the cap. It was a great way to finish. And then we went to the
Sounds.
pool, I think,
Then you
afterwards.
went to the pool. I saw you. I came and
We
teased you
went
at
to
the
the
pool
pool.
because you were done.
So,
You were done before we were halfway. No, you were done before we worked out. Before we even started that day. And
correct. So comfortably numb, nice programming. There's one where they nailed the stimulus and the time cap, I think, appropriately. So nice job.
we had 2 workouts events on Saturday, which is the day that you finished up. One of the workouts was a combination of snatches, clean and jerks, and bar muscle ups. Lots of cycling of the barbells,
Mm-hmm.
fast, challenging time cap, very fun event. The one I think I'll actually go over is another one bites the dust. Here's the
Ah,
interesting part about this workout. It was 20-foot handstand walk, 2 squat cleans. 40-foot handstand walk, 4 squat cleans. 60 feet, 6 squat cleans. 80 feet, 8 squat cleans.
Yep.
100 feet, 10 squat cleans. The morning of the event,
Oh,
rumors are going around like this event was programmed at 205 pounds for men, and in our age group. So this was all, I'm talking 45 to 49-year-old age group. It was originally 205. The 50 plus had 205, 55 plus 185, 60 plus 135, and the younger age groups had 225, and the corresponding female weights as well. But we found out the morning of the event that it was supposed to be 225 for us, 155 for the ladies. So that's what it was, and that changed it in our minds. Just it's just that much more load over 30 squat cleans. So I could just imagine how challenging 30 squat cleans for time would be. Now we're going to mix in some significant distances on handstand walks. 300 feet of handstand walking,
right.
30 squat cleans. That's what we're looking at in this at 225. So this was in a very aggressive time cap. Well, no, it wasn't aggressive. I don't know. It's hard to say what aggressive is. It's a 15-minute time cap.
Yeah.
So
there was a good amount of finishers. Not everybody finished, but there were a decent amount in your heat. I saw one younger heat go as well. They had about the same number finish as you guys did.
Yep.
So
I'd say
I think it was well programmed. Like, you're going to finish if you have those skills.
Yes.
Not everybody was able to execute that fast.
And the interesting combination here was you've got a heavy barbell and high skill gymnastics. And I think you and I have talked about this. We love that. I mean, obviously, this is what we want to see tested at the games, quarterfinals, semifinals. You know, if you want to create a separator, we have to take two of these polarized worlds. The only thing that would make a change to this is maybe do a 5K row into it or something crazy. Not really. Yeah. But to get that monostructural expert involved in the situation. But it was, boy, was it tough, man. That 225-pound barbell changed it so much for us. It's literally just be like, well, I don't need a belt at 205 to I'm going to cinch that belt really tight for 225. It's that kind of difference for me in my world. And I'll tell you what was fun for me personally in this workout. It wasn't fun in the moment, it's fun afterwards, but it was very stressful because they had us lined up facing a certain direction. And because of my placement, everyone that I had my eyes on that I needed to beat was behind me.
Yes.
So I couldn't see them.
Right.
And doing the handstand walks, and in my peripheral on the handstand walk, I can kind of see who's with me. And we were all pretty, fairly even through the 20-foot handstand walk, 2 squat cleans, 40 feet, 4 squat cleans, 60 and 6, we start to create separation. And then once we get to 80 feet of handstand walking and 8 squat cleans, I have no idea where anyone is at behind me. I'm just
lose
afraid
track of the reps.
Lose track. And I'm pretty good at keeping track, but I can't tell. There's too many barbells clanging. Vlad is right behind me. Jason Lukanen is right behind him. Rhett Key is in the mix back there somewhere. These are all guys I'm keeping my eye on and my ear on. At one point, I was doing squat cleans, and I turned around to see what they were doing, and I remember thinking to myself, like, what do I think I can see? I can't. There's nothing for me to see there except guys doing squat cleans.
Image of Ryan standing up isn't going to tell you what rep number he was on.
I got no information.
Nothing.
At one point, I looked to the crowd to see if they would tell me anything, and they were just looking at me like deers in the headlight. No information. And so what I did is I just went as absolutely physically fast as I could. And I finished the workout, crossed the line, and I was grateful because it was a moving day for me. I entered the day in second place. I really wanted to lock up 2 wins. I won the first event that day. I won this event, and I right there, Bob or Joe were both right there. And I was like, guys, 225 is not going to slow me down. I was joking. I was happy because I had won the event. And, Bob was like, I think, you might win this whole event. You might beat everybody's time. And I wasn't as confident as he was in that. And a 40-year-old beat me by 3 seconds. But me and that other 40-year-old, our time beat all the other times and all the other divisions. So he must have been working out with the same fear that I had. I'm going to get beat. These guys are right on me. I don't even know. So I'm just going to clean and clean and clean. That last set of 10, Rick, was something special. A special level of pain was going on. But I learned something in that particular workout about these types of events or that type of a workout. I could almost feel myself dissociate from what was going on in the moment. Like it almost felt like I was the pilot, in a I don't almost want to think like in a fighter jet, right? I can almost see that I need to hit the gas or I need to tap the brake. I can read the gauges and sense where my heart rate is. I am void of emotion. I mean, the only emotion I feel is like a danger, right? I feel danger because I want to win this
Right.
event and
Yeah.
there's a
They're
threat there that
chasing you.
needs.
You know
They're
where they're
chasing
at.
me, but I was calm. I was collected. I felt all the pain. Heart rate was through the roof, but just rep after rep after rep after rep, and stepped over the line. So it was really really tough, and I was surprised. You and I talked about that night the
Hmm.
soreness we might feel the next day from something like that. Being that we're cycling that barbell, not cycling, but
Yeah.
we're doing cleans
You're
that quickly.
you're landing in the bottom of the squat with a tremendous amount of force
Load,
30
yeah,
times under
yeah,
a moderately heavy load,
yeah,
a reasonably heavy load. And I
yeah,
think that under the conditions leaves you more sore having already
yeah,
done those lunges the day prior.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's nasty.
It was nasty. Woke up the next day pretty fatigued going into the final day. The fourth day at Legends is always a
Yeah,
very fatigued day. But it's fun. Another one bites the dust. That was a legit. The names they come up with for these are just right.
they were great. They were taking suggestions, I think, a couple of weeks prior, or 3 weeks prior. Give us some 80s and 90s songs, and they hit them all. I agree. Well, let me say before I forget, as you wrapped up another one bites the dust, we made it through a competition, both teams, individual, and as sure for the scaled as well. This is my first competition where no machines were involved, not a one. They teased
Yes.
it. We thought they were joking. They were true to their word. There wasn't a rower, a skier, or a runner. What am I missing? Yeah, rower, skier,
Or
runner,
bike. Yeah.
or bike, or any bike, any type of bike. So you were able to run a large quality competition using pretty simple implements: a barbell, ropes, and a ton of dumbbells,
Yes.
and achieve what you wanted to without having to rely on a machine. So equipment doesn't always have to be a limiting factor, I think, is a message to take away for a competition organizer. I can't source, 40
Yeah.
rowers or 28.5 ski ergs or something like that. Don't let that stop you if you're
You
thinking
know,
about it.
after the fact, looking back, I almost forget that there were no machines. It's
Exactly.
almost,
Yep.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
didn't even occur to me. And we did get some monostructural in there in the swim. I mean, there's a
Swim.
monostructural
Right.
movement right there, and double unders are monostructural as well. So,
Correct.
did you see the post that Joe he put on his story that he was traveling from Phoenix back home, and he used a hashtag because he was planning for next year's Legend hashtag
Oh,
Rise of the Machines. So that was great.
oh
He's
no.
bring
That's a
him.
great one. Oh
Such a
boy,
great
here we
hashtag,
go.
Rise of the
Oh
Machines. I
no.
mean, it'd be really fun
I
to
know.
see what we. So we head into the
I know
final
what I need to
day.
work on.
For the individuals, the final day was a two-part workout in the span of 10 minutes. So it was really
Hmm.
one workout but two scores. Part one, 100 points on the line. You had for reps, total reps in a 6-minute time cap or AMRAP
Hmm.
style, two heavy dumbbell snatches. Heavy is for each age group. It's heavy. So up to 49, it's a 70-pound dumbbell. Then from 50 to 59, or 50 to 54, 60-pound dumbbell for men, 60-40. 55 to 9 is a 50-35, 60 plus 50-30. Actually, all 60 plus 50-35. So nice and heavy dumbbells for all of us in
Hmm.
that. So it's two dumbbell snatches, 10 goblet squats holding the head of the dumbbell. And then add two dumbbell snatches each round. So then it's 4, then 10, then 6,
Hmm.
then 10, then 8, then 10, then 12, then 10, then 14, then 10, then 16, then 10. That's as far as I got. That was a heart attack. And it
Hmm.
was really a fun workout. And you could sell it on that workout if you wanted to and put yourself in the grave. But the glitch was part two is you finish that at 6-minute mark. You have a 1-minute break. Move your 70-pound dumbbell out of the way. Get two dumbbells half the weight, so 35 in each hand now,
Hmm.
for time with a 3-minute time cap. 50 dumbbell thrusters, 25 bar facing burpees. You have just finished 70 to 80 goblet squats with a 70-pound dumbbell and all those dumbbell snatches. 3, 2, 1, go. We all start with the dumbbell thrusters. My plan, Rick, was
Yeah.
aggressive. I'm gonna
Okay.
go. I'm gonna go 20, 15, 15. I almost died trying to get to 20. It was a mistake. It was too many.
Yeah.
And then I went 10, 10, 10. But I was dying. These were the 50 hardest thrusters I've done in a long time with just 35-pound dumbbells. It felt so
Yeah.
silly to have a hard time locking out 35-pound thrusters. I
The,
did
the
get
look on
released.
people's faces was unbelievable. Those
Unbelievable.
50 nobody looked comfortable doing them.
No one was comfortable.
There were no
Not a
reps
human being.
all over the board. Nobody wanted to get deep enough. They didn't want to lock
Right.
their arms out. They could barely hold their arms over their head.
Yeah.
It was a mess. Yeah, that was fun. Fun to
Once you got
watch.
to the bar facing burp, the burpees were great. Once you got to the burpees, we've all done bar facing burpees under great fatigue. This is not new. If you could get to the burpees, you just started doing them and you just turn your head off, turn
Three,
your
two,
brain off
one,
and just do
time.
it. No big deal.
Yeah.
But you finished that one and I don't know anybody that was standing. Everybody is on all fours or on the ground at the end of that one. And again, an amazing non-machine finale. You're just like, wow, well done. This was a heavy and then goblet squats and then light and bar facing burpees. I mean, this has really just touched all of the fitness that anyone could have here. And so fun workout, really challenging, crazy to go in there for the last day. I think I was there for 7 hours through the entire day to do 10 minutes
Worked
of
out
work.
for 10 minutes of workout. Yeah.
But over the whole weekend, you think about it, in 2 days, you did 5 events and you felt pretty fresh. I mean, it wasn't a huge endeavor.
Absolutely.
I felt fatigued. I was juggling being a competitor, being a coach, a program director, and supporting and my athletes there. So I felt like I was burning the candle on both ends quite a bit there, and I loved every minute of it. But even with less than an hour worth of effort, maybe it was an hour and a half worth of total effort over 4 days. I slept 9 hours Monday night into Tuesday, 9 hours, and I was finally back in the green again. I was pretty beat up, pretty wiped out. Even though
that includes travel for everybody that competed there,
to be fair,
unless you were local. Yeah, that was travel as well.
You mentioned one thing on this last event. The judging was strict. They were on it. I took a couple no reps on goblet squats, and I don't get no reps on squats. I took a couple of no reps just to correct it, make sure you were exaggerating the movements.
Oh, yep, opening the hip up.
But we had Duan on the podcast. Duan was the head judge on different floors at different times. What was your experience on the judging? Did you find it to be top notch? I mean, when he's running it, it felt crazy solid.
I thought it to be very consistent. A couple of times, if it was not our team, I heard other teams, be corrected with comments. But I think that was because I was in the middle of it. What I noticed was how often the head judge on each floor would come over and stand over the shoulder of a said judge.
Yes.
And like he explained to us, like, if I'm watching, you're doing something wrong and you better correct it right now.
If they approach, you better clean it up.
Yes. It really depended on the movement. Like in your squat clean handstand walk, there wasn't a whole heck of a lot to watch for, because the weight was heavy enough. You were going to get down and catch that in a squat anyhow. And you either handstand walked or you didn't. But it was those gray areas where it was just goblet squats. People were trying to cycle them, or the thrusters. Squat depth was such a big part of the judging process. And boy, they were on them something fierce. Yeah, it was good. I think the judging overall, and we really recognized a lot of the judges. They're coming together. We talked about their association. Love the fact that we're recognizing faces. They're quality, they're professional, but they're holding you accountable, which is important.
It was, that part was run so well. I think anytime there's judges, there's the human element that comes into play. There's
of course.
In the heat of the moment, I know that there were some competitors in mind that, on the walking lunge, there was a competitor that got stopped and had to go back on some lunges. And the communication was challenging right there, because it's the heat of the moment. Why did I get no reps? Why do I have to go back? That's just one example that I heard of. On the other hand, you have the strictness, and I love that on a final event when everything's on the line on the last 2 events, and they are watching you like a hawk to have clear, crisp movements. I like that. I'd rather have it be overbearing. In fact, there was one event at the CrossFit Games in 2018 that started with 50 deadlifts at 225. I think that the judges were told to no rep everybody on the first rep, because everybody got a no rep on the first rep. But it was, I don't know if that's actually the case, but I mean, it was 99% of everyone got no reps on rep number 1 on the deadlifts. But I think it was to let people know, stand it up. Like if
Hmm.
you get no rep out there, all of a sudden your behavior changes dramatically. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You just,
it was
oh,
amazing to
you
watch.
mean you had guys out there opening their hips to where they were like literally arching their backs to make sure
Yeah.
standing up on the goblet squat. But I did like to see Dewan and all of the other judges out there, again, familiar faces, like you said, out there working as hard as we were working. I mean, if not more, they're working 10, 12, 14-hour days on the floor,
Oh, yep.
having to be on the spot, paying attention, no mistakes. I'll tell you this one story, Rick. I was getting ready for the squat clean workout, and
Hmm.
one of my athletes, a Boulder athlete, was the judge. And I was like, hey, I was so excited to see her. I was like, yay, you're my
Oh,
judge. This is so exciting. And she's like, hey, I'm so excited that you're here in my lane. I have to switch lanes to keep it
good.
ethical, to
Yeah.
keep it
Yeah.
completely
Yeah.
clear. I'm going to switch lanes
Good.
with this guy. You know, I want to judge you, but I'm going to switch lanes. And I was like, mad respect. Like, it
Yep.
didn't even
That's
occur to me. I didn't think, I knew that she would think that she would enjoy that. But no, that was the right thing to do. Yeah, switch lanes. Make
absolutely.
there no question. So very, very cool situation with her there.
I would. I'm not going to be there, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them are down there in Miami for the next,
Yes.
large competition here at Wadapalooza
Yep.
in January. So,
Agreed.
yeah. So thank you to the judges. Thank you to the volunteers,
Oh,
Bob
yes.
and Joe and Jason. Excellent job. Give
Excellent
teams
job.
more, please.
Yep. Now that you know that teams enjoy it and that they signed up and they showed up, unleash hell for these guys.
Come on.
Next year. I want Rick to be crawling.
Yes.
I don't.
This
If you're fresh next year,
Yeah.
I'll give you things to do.
If I'm getting a tan again like I did this past year, then something's wrong.
Something's wrong. Or if maybe you get burnt because you died by the pool. That's fine. I
There
would
you go.
prefer
That's
to hear
okay.
you.
Pass out. Pass out.
Well, Rick, it's time for
Yeah.
your pick of the week. What do you got this week?
All right. What I have is, for those watching, pretty standard, little portable speaker, Bluetooth speaker. And why am I showing this? Very simple. I forgot it. Did not bring it. When you have a VRBO and you want to have some tunes playing, you're cooking dinner, I had to apologize to you both and to my teammates as well. Sorry, there was no music. It just helps break up. You're talking you're around CrossFit all day. The noise from the competition. I like to have a little bit of music in the background, just unwind, just to chill out. And of course, I failed. So it was not on my packing list. Let's remember that. Let's add that to the packing list, which was another
Yes.
critical thing. But yes, how about just remember a speaker next time for the tunes? Because you had plenty of music at the venue. It would have been nice to have something at the house. So sorry about that. I owe you one.
I like it. You're forgiven. You're forgiven immediately. My pick of the week is something I just got on Amazon, and this is it. It's a weekly planner, and I just picked it up off of Amazon this week. Random advertisements for these weekly planners because I must have lingered on one on Instagram. But anyway, went on Amazon, looked this up, and it's just something I could peel off this page. I could build out my weekly plan, peel off the page, do next week's weekly plan. But I tend to have a huge stack of things I need to get done in a day, and what ends up happening is that, or in a week, what ends up happening is I just have this huge list and I just chip away at it day after day. But actually, having a weekly planner like this helps me plan what I'm going to accomplish today, what I'm going to push off to tomorrow. I don't need to get this done today. I'll do this tomorrow. Friday is typically my leftover day to clean up anything else that I need to get done. So I'll do that on Fridays. Keeps me, well, it's day one, actually. I just got it. So we'll see how that goes. I'll put a link for this in the show notes down below because it's kind of fun. And I'm going to wrap it up here. We lost Rick in this. I hope he's okay. But yeah, we had a little internet challenge here at the end, and that's just part of how this goes. So with that said, appreciate Rick. If you can hear me, I appreciate you. We appreciate all the volunteers and everyone that helped put the Legends Championship together. It was a phenomenal event. I am honored and blessed to be able to compete there and be a part of that. So I'm grateful. With all that, we just want to say thank you to our listeners for tuning into the Masters in Motion podcast. We would be grateful if you could take a moment to leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or your preferred podcast app. Your support helps us reach more listeners and grow our Masters community. Until next time, Rick, get bolder, not older. Good to see you, man. We'll see you next week.